There are definitely some things that I wish I would have known before moving to Bali. So today I'm gonna tell you a few of them. This is also a very personal list with a lot of very personal experiences, so I am being a bit vulnerable in this video, so please give me some love in the comments and be nice with me. Coco, come say hi to YouTube. Excuse our pool, I know it's a mess. But first thing that I wish I would have known before moving to Bali is how easy it is to start a company. So I've actually started 2 companies in Sweden before. And when I say start a company, I mean like the administrational stuff and like everything when you're starting up the business. In Sweden also is a lot of like details that you need to like keep track on, and there's a lot of things that is a little bit hard to know how to do, and you need to do that whole process by yourself in Sweden basically. And I did not realize, I think I thought it would like be hard to do it here in Indonesia for some reason, just because it's a different country. But when I started my company here in Indonesia, I realized how easy the process actually is. So especially because it's, I think, typical, I did it that way. I used someone that helped me set it up, and he set everything up for me. I just needed to like go through the details with him, and then it was up and running. So yeah, I wish I would have known that earlier, because I would have made other decisions if I would have known that earlier. And I would also honestly have saved a lot of money if I had done that earlier. So that's one thing that I really wish I would have known before moving to Bali. Another thing is to have things on paper, have deals that you do or like arrangements that you do on paper. And excuse me if our neighbors are playing in the background. It's sunset time, so they are always a bit loud at that time. But anyway, so this maybe is like an obvious thing. You need to have things on paper, and it's easy to know that. And then when you come to some situations where it might be tricky to have things on paper correctly, or you just feel like it's probably gonna be okay, you don't end up having things on paper. I mean, I kind of know this, and when I've done things where I don't have things on paper and put money into stuff, I've been aware that that is money that I'm risking. So I think you need to just be okay with that. But I have had situations where, for example, lease a place without a paper and pay up front. And in the end, it did give me some headache because it didn't go exactly the way I maybe wanted it to. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. One other thing is to be careful with people. I'm gonna try to explain this in a way so you don't misunderstand me. But I think like moving to a new place, I've had that experience once before when I moved to a new city, is that in the beginning, because you don't know people, you just end up like becoming friends with like everyone. And after a while, you're gonna start to like select, you know, like who do you actually click with. And I think here, one thing that I wish I would have been more prepared on is there might be some people with bad intentions. I mean, of course, this is something that I knew, but if I would have maybe thought more about it before and not like kind of hanging out with many people or like getting involved with many things. And also I'm a bit of an introvert, and like I don't have conflicts often. So there are a few things and a few situations from the last few years. So I mean, it's not in a small time period, but it's been a few things that I would have avoided if I would have thought about it more before and been more careful, being a little bit naive in those moments and maybe making a few decisions that I now afterwards wouldn't have done. So just to like moving to a new place, like being aware of that you will need to select your people, you know, and you're not gonna get along with everyone, even though in the beginning you might just like hang out and meet everyone because you don't know anyone else. I hope I explained that well, but probably not. But I hope you don't misunderstand me. And I think that's like moving anywhere, you know, you need to take care of your energy and maybe be a little bit selective sometimes. And it's not that other people are bad people, it's just that you might be very different to each other, and that might not always be best for you. You might have different type of intentions with things that might clash sometime. And moving to a new place, I would have wanted to be a little bit more careful with putting a lot of energy into some things. Yeah, that's it. Hope you understand, and comment down below if you also have similar experience. Next thing is, I wish I would have known that learning a new language is hard, which I did know, but I wish I would have known that during my first few months here, I had so much time on my hands. I did not work during those few months in the beginning, and I was mostly like surfing and hanging out with Tom. And I mean that's good because we ended up getting married, but I wish I would have known that the time I had then to, for example, learn Indonesian, I will not have later. Now, I mean, I practice every day and my Indonesian is like, okay, I can get by, okay, but I wish I would have known that the time I had then would have been perfect to learn more Indonesian. Another thing I kind of wish I would have known is that moving to a new country can be hard. I think I was very naive about moving to a new country in one way, which is also good because I ended up just like diving head first into it. But I wish I would have been more like mentally prepared for how hard also it is to give up your own country. At least for me, you know, it's been a really long process for me to like 100% move to Indonesia. I've for a very long time had this idea that we're gonna live in Sweden for a shorter amount of time in the future, and now I kind of stepped away from that idea, which I think is good. I'm very happy where I am now, but for me it's been really hard like giving up the system in Sweden. You know, I feel very safe with the Swedish system, with the healthcare, and like if we would have kids in the future, to have the kids in Sweden. I had my company in Sweden for a while and like was nervous about moving my company here, and yeah, just those type of things, like that process to go through was much harder than I would have maybe thought. I wish I would have been more prepared on like what it actually means to like move from your country 100% and let go of those securities that you have in your home country maybe. Also, of course, like leaving friends and family, it's been harder also than I thought. Maybe it can be hard to like get those close friendships that you have with people that you've known so long at home, to find them in a completely new place. So I feel like during really hard times here, when I've gone through stuff here, I wish I were more mentally prepared for that. Just like knowing that it would actually times where it would be really hard. But to leave it on a more positive note, one thing that I wish I would have known moving here to Indonesia is how happy I would being here. And I mean, maybe it's not always good to know everything because maybe you would have made completely different decisions if you would have known everything about the future. But it took me a long time to like really be okay with moving to Indonesia. I think it was at least 9 months into dating Tom that I really felt like the decision to permanently, semi-permanently move to Indonesia. And yeah, if I would have known earlier how happy I would be here, I would probably have made other decisions and move here more permanently sooner. And yeah, I just wish I would have known how happy I would end up here in Bali. So if you're thinking about moving to Bali, be aware of it's gonna be hard at times, but it is worth it because you will probably be very happy here, hopefully. See you next time.